At first glance, the crime doesn't match the time. In Baltimore County, Fox 45 uncovering several cases where undocumented immigrants received seemingly soft sentences for heinous child sex offenses. This man accused of repeatedly raping a 14-year-old family member. This man accused of sexually abusing a girl between the ages of 8 and 11. Both pleading guilty to felony sex offense charges, and both sentenced to 25 years behind bars with all but 18 months suspended. These two men, both accused of molesting two close family members, sentenced to just 5 years probation. And this man, accused of repeatedly raping and assaulting a 7-year-old girl, receiving a stent disposition, meaning the case didn't go to court at all.
These are very, very difficult cases, and we have to make very difficult decisions all the time.
Baltimore County State's Attorney Scott Schellenberger explaining these offenses are among the hardest to convict. Not only is evidence usually limited, in criminal cases, victims are required to testify. And in each of these cases, the victims and their families didn't want to be re-traumatized by a trial.
We never force a victim in a sexual assault case to testify. That's a very difficult thing to do. And so we try to always balance out everyone's interest.
Which often means settling for a plea deal.
So while the sentences were a little light, getting the guilty finding, making sure that they were registered, we've at least established a record.
But specifically, when non-citizens are involved, there's another layer to consider. In a statement to Fox 45, the Maryland judiciary revealing when offering a shorter sentence, judges do consider if a defendant will be taken into ICE custody upon release. This despite County Executive Johnny Olszewski only recently agreeing to hand violent offenders over to ICE after Fox 45 shined a spotlight on this convicted sex offender's release just last month.
So is that, problematic at all that they would be taking that into consideration when detainers weren't being honored?
Well, actually not.
Schellenberger claiming even before the county's no ICE cooperation policy was changed, his prosecutors were notifying ICE.
I can tell you that in cases where the judge said, I'm taking this into consideration, or you knew it was a consideration, I can guarantee you my prosecutor made a phone call.
However, for this case, and many more like it in Baltimore County and across the state, ICE Director Matthew Elliston arguing his agents still need to know the exact time of release and be allowed inside the detention center to ensure a secure and safe inmate handoff. Schellenberger also emphasizing the importance of local and federal partnerships, especially when a child victim is involved.
Most of these cases, you can't give a life sentence. So that's where that detainer or that phone call to ICE can really make a difference, because they will be out of the country.
So, Rebecca, Schellenberger just explained the importance of honoring ICE detainers when a judge is issuing a shorter sentence with them in mind. But what does that mean for places like Howard County, where they refuse to cooperate with ICE?
Mackenzie, it likely means that those defendants will be released back into the community, potentially earlier than they were supposed to be. Recently in Howard County, they ignored an ICE detainer for a man who was convicted of helping cover up a murder. After he was released, it took ICE 6 months to track him down and arrest him just this week. With that case in mind, today I reached out to County Executive Calvin Ball asking if he still supports the sanctuary policy barring all cooperation with ICE. He didn't respond, but take a listen to what he had to say when I asked that same question after we learned a convicted drug dealer was released last month.
I agree that when people break the law, they should be held accountable. I also agree that the federal enforcement should enforce federal laws. And I agree that local law enforcement should enforce local laws.
So Ball continuing to double down on those strict sanctuary policies, even when convicted criminals are being re-released back into his community. Reporting live, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.